Welcome to the weekly open mic. We do this call because MSPs asked us to. You folks wanted to know what was new with the platform, what bugs we fixed, and you wanted to do a little R&D or rob and duplicate automations that your peers are building. A bunch of reminders. First off, this is a highly technical call. If you're an MSP owner and you have an engineer working on this, you're not expected to know everything here, but feel free to sit back and listen to what people are doing with automation. Also, if you are the engineer working with Roost, don't forget to add time savings. The best automations are the easiest ones to forget. And then also, we have Discord and we use Discord. Let me see, who am I gonna ask? Because I have a very important question. I don't think I've ever asked Emmett. Emmett, how many MSPs have succeeded with automation that never asked a question?
No, I'm thinking 0.
Yes, 0. In fact, one of my warning signs of whether or not an MSP is going to succeed is whether or not they think they know everything about automation. Those that tend to ask a lot of questions in public channels like the Coop, or in private channels like their support channel, those folks tend to succeed with automation. And with that, I think that's my announcements. Ashe, I'm going to throw it back at you.
Thank you. All right, so we do not get graced with George's community corner announcements this week or next. He is off on some deserving vacation, so we will just be jumping right back into kind of like our immediate old school plan. Not really that old school. Anyways, we're going to jump over to our product and dev update with Danial to start.
Hello, beautiful people. Jordan's vacation being deserved is a bit of a hot take. I personally think that he should be working right now, but here we are without George. So, dev update for this week. We didn't have any major features to announce this week, but I'm going to talk about a couple different things, and next week we're going to have some fun demos relating to RoboRewsty. I'm going to start actually just by giving a little bit of a leak as per what Aaron usually does. I just want to show what we have in staging right now. So this is actually going to be available in production, but we're still doing testing internally for it. So we're really excited to get this in your hands. So you can see here that I have RoboRewsty open, and I can just ask something like, what is a completion handler? And I'm going to come back to this in just a second and talk about some other stuff. So a few of the fixes that we've done this week and the chores as well, we're spending a lot of time on improving the quality and the efficiency of our releases. So we've been spending a lot of time just making sure that we have our continuous integration, continuous development pipeline really refined, so we can release more frequently, and our releases, we can de-risk them as well. We have a couple changes to we have a change to App Builder this week. There was a problem when cloning within your environment. Pages weren't inheriting the correct permissions, so we made a fix to that. And then we made a change. We've been working on this here and there throughout the past few months on different pages. But when you had a persisted organization filter, so for example, I can show this quickly. There was an error message that was showing. So you can see here, I have a organization variable table. And if I filter by this sub-organization, and then I go to delete this sub-organization, right here, if I delete this and I type in delete orgs, it will delete it. Previously, if I refreshed this, I would get an error. but today it actually recognized that the org is deleted, and it will not trigger an error. So if you see stuff like this, please let us know. These are actually we've made these fixes in a few different places that we've noticed. What happens is when you get this error, it's difficult to actually remove that error because you can't clear any of the tables, or sometimes it's just not obvious that that's what you have to do. So yeah, again, we fixed that bug. If I jump back into here, you can see that RoboRewsty has come back and asked us, hey, this is, and told us this is what a completion handler is. This is why you should use it. Talks about some related concepts, some best practices, and then it gives you sources, and I can just jump right into here and I can see all about completion handlers directly from our doc site. So this is in our staging environment. Just wanted to show you all that we are working on this, and it will be out in a relatively short period of time. This is still around that September timeframe. But yeah, thank you so much to Geeta, Albert, Dan Hayes, Adam, and everybody who's been working on this RoboRewsty stuff. It's a really big thing that we're excited about. And that is all I have to talk about this week. So back to you, Ashley.
I have something that Daniel forgot.
Oh God, what'd I do?
Daniel's always forgetting.
Was it the why? Why we need to do that? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
This is not a request for you to try to break Roost, but this week, Pavan, one of our developers here, I say his name because we should all be buying Pavan a beer, added a ton of what I would consider torque to the engine. The 5 p.m. spike, sure, it may go up for a few seconds at the beginning of 5 p.m., but it quickly tapers off. It doesn't last 10 or 15 minutes anymore. So we've made huge improvements. We're calling it single queue deployments internally for our engine, but hopefully you folks have noticed improved response times for your workflows over the past week. All right, Ash.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so now we are going to jump over to JP, who's got our marketplace update for us. And also, JP, Jesse did a good job for you last week. So
yeah, I watched it. Yeah, that was. I think Jesse should be the regular open micer. I love it. Thank you so much, Jesse, for doing that last week. All right. So this week, I went ahead and released we talked about this workflow a week or two ago, the rotate account password workflow. It's now a rotate account password crate. So you can pop into the marketplace and install it. It's pretty straightforward. Just go in, you unpack it. There's an org variable for organizations that you set. It's just comma delimited account names. So, JP_admin or something like that. You set that as the org variable, and then you configure a cron trigger on the workflow for whatever interval you want to do that. And it will rotate those account passwords and store them in your IT glue or your Hoodoo environment. So pretty straightforward. It works for either O365 or on-premise as well. So something to download, install in your environment, and check out. And if you want to do other stuff with it, it should be pretty straightforward to adapt. Some ideas that I've written several versions of this before, and some ideas for you to add to it would be checking the age of the password and only rotating every 90 days or something like that. There are a lot of cool modifications that you could do more specific to processes, and maybe we'll add that to the crate sometime in the future. But that's all, aside from some bug fixes and tweaks to existing workflows. That's all we did with Marketplace this week.
Thank you, JP. I'm not sure if I misheard. Did you get Jim Barry's question there?
What was his question?
Does the password rotation work across non-domain desktops as well for on-prem?
Is it? Hold on. Let me get down to his actually.
You can
Local
answer.
users.
I'm sorry, local users?
Yeah.
No. Let's see. No, it doesn't. But if you're interested, I can get you a copy of where I've done that too. So it's pretty straightforward as well. I think it did a combination of that and the 90-day thing. So maybe that would make you, if you think that's interesting, maybe I could make that another crate as well, just so everyone could get a copy if they're interested.
Yeah. Sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, so now we are going to click on over to Clea.
Hello. Let me drop the training page in here. Didn't just publish it a minute ago, along with publishing a brand new course, but we'll get to all that very shortly. I want to start, as always, with testing my breathing capacity Roost Foundation certifications. Shout outs to Mark, Jessica, Evan, Adam, Nate, John, Ryan, Danial, Nathan, 2 people, Satyam, Zigemantas, Jurchen, Toby, Davis, Gabriel, and Charles for foundations. Shout out to Adam again, Chris, Satyam, Bree, Jasmine, and David for clean automation. And I'm really sorry if I botched anyone's voice. Words are failing me. And I'm getting ready to head out for 2 weeks of vacation. So y'all get the legendary Eddie Chow for the next 2 weeks, something to look forward to. I'm sure he'll start these with some story time rather than my fumbling. We do have CluckU updates. We have a brand new course, Troubleshooting in Roost. I'll take us there momentarily. We updated our video in the How to Use PowerShell with Roost micro course. We have archived our Canny boards. We had some few feedback points that we responded to, one of which was from back in 2024 about someone who wanted a gamified CluckU experience where they could sign in and track their courses. And guess what? We have that now. So problem solved. But of course, if you ever have any wishes, feedback, complaints, requests, best way to reach us is via email at clucku@roost.io. We've got a slew of new and updated documentation pages, so be sure to give those some love as well. But in the last minute or so here, I did want to drop a link to the Troubleshooting in Roost course. Thank you to Jessica for the foundations love. The troubleshooting course is awesome. Lauren is awesome for creating the videos. Dan Hayes and a bunch of other technical folks at Roost are amazing for giving us feedback, including the 30 seconds before the course went live. So if you spot any typos, errors, or whatever, do let us know. But I highly recommend anyone and everyone take this. I learned about 2 years into Roost that there's different areas you should go if you want to see workflow results for one organization versus for all the organizations. So in this course, you learn that and much more. If you want to look at all our courses, best place is Home Search Courses. If you notice that beyond the first row, everything is in alphabetical order, that is because it's me. Hi, I'm the alphabetizing problem, it's me. But all of our new courses are here. Getting started with completion handlers teaches you how to kind of customize a crate without unsyncing it. That is a hidden gem. How to use PowerShell with Roost, that's the course that I mentioned being up. Troubleshooting is in here, our new ROI course as well. Thank you to Alexander for giving us early feedback. We've already made improvements to one of the lessons in here that had a typo in some code. So we do look at all the feedback and please keep it coming. We're always working on improving your search experience, making sure that we get specific about, beginner content, intermediate, etc. Yeah, lots to learn. Get in there and get your certificate and get your knowledge points. Those don't exist, but maybe one day they will. That's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Clea. All right, so we are going to have a few demos. I am going to jump to Matt first. Matt, are you on the call?
I am here.
Awesome. Do you want to introduce yourself and let us
Sure.
know a little bit about what you're going to show us?
So I'm Matt, or MSP Matt, if you see me in Discord. Just with Amptel Technologies, just a little MSP up in Wisconsin. And recently we had been looking at kind of tacking on a Duo user onboarding to the end of our regular onboarding. And of course, is it okay if I share screen then?
Yep, you can.
All right. We can see that. If everybody's kind of looked at the standard video that was out there, I kind of started going down this path of starting off a sync, listing users. Oh, and what I found is we would send these out, and we couldn't access the child accounts because as an MSP, we have multiple accounts underneath our Duo. And I started looking into this and found that, of course, Duo's got documentation about being able to use the accounts API. But if you do it with the built-in integration, you get some errors basically saying, hey, you can't talk to that because you're up in the primary. And so you actually have to call their API for the child's account API and do a lovely little thing with how it's actually going to configure that. Let's see if I found it in here. And how that you authenticate is you have to build a whole HMAC signature. So I did what any good Rewsty user does. I found somebody else's HMAC signature and robbed it. And I don't even remember who I robbed it from at this point. So I built this nice little workflow, and I did post this out in the Duo Security Discord channel. This is something anybody can do up here. I'm planning on ripping this piece out here. I got to make sure that we have our API host names for the child accounts actually stored somewhere. I plan on pulling that out and just kind of running it weekly or something here. But pretty much anywhere this little sub workflow runs is this nice little HMAC call. And it's building up all those parameters for us. And what I had to tweak for this initially was that you have to send your timestamp in the signature, but also tell it the same timestamp. So if you get date twice, it's two different timestamps. So I pull and hard code it and send off whatever request it is I'm sending off. So you do have to know a little of the API calls, and I'll show that to you here. But yeah, it's just pulling all of that. So kind of with that same mock-up that the video had, I went down step by step, made sure my orgs had a Duo account, checked them with an org variable just to see if we filled in that directory key. And so then when we call this, and you'll have to, interesting enough, so you'll have to hard code your own I key and S key, just so that if you end up running something down at a different level that you don't, you want it at your parent tenant's level. But you can pull in your whole nice little path here, throw in the directory key, so you actually are pulling it from your top. And so everywhere that was in the other workflow, we can now do that. So I have it set here. I can go down. I can check if we even put a phone number in our ticket and have this set up as a with a workflow completion handler. Goes down, double checks if it actually works, sends off its whole SMS install thing, and just because I can, I have it letting my techs know that hey, we did add this, and add it to the ticket. So I'm not sure if anybody wants me to go into depth on something. I should have prefaced, long-time listener, first-time caller, so I'm not very good at giving presentations.
This is really good.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Does anybody have any questions for Matt? A lot of celebration.
So, and I can't show you running this just because I sanitized it, but I did, like I said, export it out and put it on the Duo channel in Discord.
Is this saving you time?
Saving me time, absolutely. It's one last thing that you have to check off your list. I don't think that seconds is right.
Do it at the workflow level.
Well,
Click
at the workflow level, I don't like putting them in at the workflow level, because if I go here and let's say, we don't actually need to do this, it just does the check. That only ran for a minute or less. So when it actually gets down to it, I usually put them down into where it actually says it did something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not everybody's normal modus operandi, but that's kind of where I put my time savings. But yes, it saves me time, makes it easier, faster on the techs. We've gotten with all these onboarding pieces, it used to take us maybe 4 hours depending on waiting for everything to sync, and this is just one less thing for them to do. They don't have to know that, hey, this client actually does do directory sync versus another client doesn't. So a little less on their heads. And with that, I guess I'll stop the share.
Thank you so much.
I got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
How many V2 APIs are there now? Because I know like a while back it was like just the policy API.
Duo's V2 APIs?
Yeah, they've been adding more, I guess.
I have no idea, because this is the first time I've gone to look and see what we got out of there and found their documentation for it.
I haven't looked at their API in quite a bit, but I do have a PowerShell module that accommodates for it in some places.
Yeah, and so this one would be through the accounts API, but kind of co-joined with the admin API, right?
Exactly.
All ties together on the Duo side.
All right, thank you. I was just seeing whether those were, I think Chris was just adding some commentary, the value. Cool. So, all right, up next, thank you very much, Matt. We are going to jump over to Austin.
How's it going, Ash?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
And you? How are you now?
So let me go ahead and share. Basically what I have today is just a form that will take all of the fields, put them in like a JSON object and push them to Active Directory as a hash table to update a bunch of attributes of a user in one go. This is a form, nothing special. You just choose the user and then fill out the different attributes. This will be extended. I'm still working on this. It's a work in progress, but this is where I got so far. And each one is just named after what the specific AD attribute is, just to make it much easier for the JSON. So then when we go over here, I'll eventually do enter, I'm just not there yet. So for on-prem, basically, if it's from the form, it's going to take everything, all the variables that are not excluded, and then put those in that JSON list. Otherwise, I plan on using it as a sub workflow in some cases. So that's this case where it's already passing through a JSON object and it'll push that to PowerShell. This is the PowerShell script. Fairly simple, basically just gets a list of those attributes. It gets all the keys. That way what I can do is I can basically store right around here what are all the values for that user currently, so that we have that logging. Then it goes ahead and makes that change. And then afterwards, it outputs basically what is it now that we've changed it, just to have logging from before and after. And I hate the little teams thing that's always in the way. That's just a quick output I have as an example. So you can see here is where it stores all the values before it was set, and then all the values after it was set. That's pretty much everything it does. I plan on probably sending out an email with whoever filled out the form just to have that confirmation of here's before, here's after, and then probably making it a bit more robust and like what attributes it handles and doing error handling and all that. But that is everything for today. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Austin? All right, if not, we can move on. Thank you so much for the demo there.
Anytime.
Now we can jump over to Will. Will, you are up now.
Oh, okay. Hey there, everybody. My name's Will. I am on the Rock. You might have dealt with me before. And today I'm going to be presenting a something I've been working on. It's kind of been an ongoing project since. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Make sure. Okay, here we go. So everybody see it? You see a Slack on one side and workflow on the other. So back last year, I started working on a workflow. It was called the AI research team. It included Slack functionality where you could do a slash command and also a form right here that you could select your AI models using OpenRouter, which is a unified interface for LLMs. I built a custom integration for it, and it allows you to select from a huge list of models. So yeah, anyway, it was a series based or a serial workflow in that, like, my idea behind it was to make it where one LLM, you'd ask a question, then it'd go to one agent, and then it'd go to the next one, and each one would build upon what the last one said. And the idea was to help, like, reduce, maybe get more factual information, reduce the lies or hallucinations possibly. What I found is it just kind of, I ended up making a loop. So I wanted to do some, and Aaron will probably hate me for this, but it never crashed the system. So, but I made it loop into itself. So it would, I let it run for a while, and probably cost me like $20 in API calls. But I just wanted to see like how it would transform like a real basic message into, see where it went. And I found that it wasn't that useful. So my next thing was to create a parallel system, which I'd started working on later on at some point this year, a couple months ago. And it is a truly agentic system. It's simple in that, like, it's not got I don't have any like tool usage or vector databases or anything like that, but I did want to show everybody how to, like, the basics of building like an agentic system that you can pretty much and agentic AI, if you don't know, is like a system that is each model has agency. and so it can operate. It makes its own decisions to some degree. So in this one, I've got an orchestrator is number one, and then it selects. Here's that Teams thing that's was bothering Austin. So the orchestrator, I've got a prompt here. It has formatting for 4 different agents. You got the security and compliance, infrastructure and cloud, automation and DevOps, network and systems. And so this is to kind of help maybe, solve bigger MSP problems if you have like a, larger issue or something that you want to, or you just kind of want to get a little consultation. It's going to be as powerful as the information you give it, of course. And so that's why I have thought about like adding additional functionality at some point that would pull in from IT Glue or some sort of database that you have on Azure or whatever. There's all sorts of things you could do with it. So it selects these things. It can select 1 through 4 depending on what it feels the prompt is about, and it can then it'll then go through there and goes to the QA agent, quality assurance. It does a little weighting. What I mean by weighing of the quality of the responses it gets, and then it determines from there if something is bad, it doesn't like it, it'll send it to the refinery, sends it back up here, goes back through for that particular agent. And I do have some logic in here for to take into account. I'm looking for it, but anyway, some logic to take into account the user prompt and like what was originally selected, so that way it won't necessarily add new agents that weren't selected in the first place. And from there, it then goes to the service delivery manager or lead engineer that then summarizes everything, presents it to the customer and to you, and creates an HTML report. And so I've got a few different ways of operating it. We've got the consult command. It is, I'm just gonna look for a prompt that I have in here, over here. There we go. There's a prompt I generated earlier, or I made. This is a simple one. It probably won't use all of the agents, and let's see what happens. So consult, and I put in the prompt. I had to also had to make a Slack app for this. So you will, this is Slack. You could do it with Teams. You could do it. There's all sorts of ways you could do it. You could have it just send an email. Any number of things. And you can also swap between models with org variables. So I've got a few different ways. Like this is a little messy. I haven't cleaned up everything about this thing yet because, like I said, it's kind of just continuation of something I've been working, like an ongoing work in progress. But you can switch with org variables. There's a form that I've broken since I haven't used it in a while. But like I said, you can go through here and just choose each model individually, and then or you do like Slack commands. So in this one, when I do consult, it gives me each agent's feedback. In this case, we're still running. So let's go view it. And we've got, so it's decided to skip a couple of these. You'll see the skip here. And I had to do that because of I had to design it like this. And I got a little assistance from my colleague, Jamie Thorne on the Rock. And because I was running into a race condition. But then it goes through here and it's gotten the report. We see that we had the Mr. No Fun Allowed, which is security and compliance dude. He gave us a little bit of information, and we had network dude. And then we've got our fearless leader. And let's see what they say, what the report is. Here we go. Just an HTML report. Yeah, I had it all generated by built the HTML and CSS with an AI model, so that's why it has that look. And it just gives a good, nice little report. You could pretty it up for sure. Don't mind the names here. I had a different setup for this thing before, but here's another example of it getting the report. So you can do a get report and do a less verbose version, unlike how I am running my mouth right now. But give me just a sec. Let's take this nice big prompt with some complexity to it and run it through there. We've got a largest manufacturing client that's 2,500 users, 12 million ARR. It's pretty good. They demand that we migrate their legacy on-premises ERP, and they're just they're needy folks. So we're gonna let that run, and we're gonna go back over here, and let's take a look and see what happens. So it's going, and and it should hit all these, and it'll bypass the Slack message completely over, at least on this front, for these. So then we're just going to end up with a report from Mr. Manager, and yeah, I think that's about it. We can. Anybody have any questions, comments, maybe about anything specifically?
I love you, Will.
Who said that?
It was me. I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
What was the most interesting part of that, building that for you?
I think just kind of so I have to say I had a lot of fun, like going through the custom integration part, like just building out the custom integration, figuring it out. I had to go back and forth. So I'm not even gonna lie, I used a lot of AI to work through this whole thing in the first place. Like I used Claude to a large degree for a long time, Cursor, various things to help me walk through Roost, get through Roost in general. Like, not that I don't know how to use it, but it would like help me with some of these more esoteric type of structures with the Jinja and stuff like that I like and it helped also keep track of like all the variables I had to have to make things operate as intended, and make these decision factors come into play. There's a lot more I could do with it, but it's what's fun about it, I think, is just, I don't know, the whole journey. This is the type of workflow for me. I don't know about the rest of you. If you're on this call, you're probably a nerd. But I stayed up multiple times till 5 or 6 in the morning and got like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. Today I just polished it for this open mic. Which is not even that polished, but I stayed up. I was up. I got 3 hours of sleep. So, that's pretty much. I just had fun with it. I don't know. The whole thing's fun. I did forget to mention also the triggers. I forget before I forget. They're webhook triggers. That I just have the app, the Slack app attached to, basic stuff. So I don't know. There's more to it. I could show you at some point, but I don't want to take up all the time.
Somebody else, I think I started talking. Somebody had a question.
Shoot.
If not,
put it back up.
I don't see. All right. Well, we are at the end of our regularly scheduled programming, so there is nothing else on the agenda. We went through our demos pretty quickly. Not quickly, but like we just were efficient with them. And now we've got some time left. So if anyone has any more questions for Will or Matt or Austin or Clea or JP or Daniel or Aaron. I feel like I was going through the Goodnight Moon list.
Hey, it's Anil. Can I ask Will a question?
Absolutely.
Sure.
So, Will, I sincerely apologize. I missed the first few minutes of the introduction to your like your topic, but my question is like, how are you, intending to use this? Is this something that will be released as a crate? And so the reason I'm asking is right now we created a Azure AI search data like index with tickets from the beginning of the year. We're doing like a proof of concept, I'm using AI to rewrite the tickets, sending the original data like summary and all the notes, including the AI version of the summary and the notes, and then a resolution. So I'm creating embeddings, all that good stuff, and then but the missing pieces that I want to figure out how I can leverage a chat with like chat history and whatnot to kind of do what you're doing, like maybe create a solution or provide like a resolution based off of the Azure AI search. And that's been a tough part for me. I don't know if that ties into anything that you're doing right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're in the right place, or like going down the right path, I think. And I think you know what you have is kind of what I just haven't gotten around to configuring and setting up is like the search engine or the search index, or the database that you're talking about, vector database, the Azure smart indexing, smart search. I forget exactly what it's called off the top of my head right now, but
Semantic search.
Semantic search, yeah, semantic search. So with something like, and I think our Anthropic integration also, the official Anthropic integration, and I think probably our OpenAI too now. I just don't use OpenAI much myself. I mean, I might use some of the models sometimes, but I just, I don't know. I don't like Sam Altman. So I tend to just use all the other stuff, but this has a function and tool calling capability. So you could, I haven't tried it yet myself. That's something I've been meaning to experiment with. Just hadn't gotten around to it because reasons. But you could leverage a database for these agents to call into and pull the data out of, and then they could basically work with that data and manipulate it. And however you prompt them, however you tell them, and they can work with each other on it too. It really just depends on how you string everything together. This wasn't like set up to be a crate or anything. This is just my like for fun thing because I like to do it. But I just kind of thought people might want to get an idea because I don't think I've seen anybody doing any agentic. I don't think I've seen any truly agentic stuff. In Roost, I mean, I think we do have a couple crates that ticket categorization, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it's agentic. I don't know. I'm not real sure on that, but I think this would be something that like I would be happy to release it for folks to like play with and go from there. Like Aaron says, rob and duplicate, because I think there's a lot we could be doing with this. I think we just got to work as a community to make it happen.
Yeah, no, I think that would be great because that's where we're headed. We want to, especially for new hires that might be joining the team, just make it easier for them to just search internally, like for answers, and maybe like this is just sparking something that if you can start like a chat internally. It can search the internal database. If there is nothing too strong of an answer, maybe another agent enhances that answer with like something from the web using a tool like the Firecrawl or whatever as an example. So little things like that. I think it could be really, really enhanced. And surprisingly, the Azure AI Search wasn't too complicated to set up. Surprisingly, it was, but it only took like 3-4 days for me to get it up and running from scratch.
Those databases, I mean, it's really not difficult to set that stuff up.
Yeah.
I've got these vector databases and stuff running locally on my machine on server at home, and I've got like a whole Roost repository of my own that I use locally to quickly find data and interact. It's basically what we're working on already, and we're going to be, I think, releasing to some. I mean, I don't want to speak 100% because I'm not on the dev team, but I think it's. I'm excited about what I've seen, and I think we're going to be having like some of that functionality that's going to be really kind of make it a lot easier to make this agentic work happen.
Yeah, thank you. And I guess that's my last question is like where I attended the Roost conference and listened to Aaron's talk, and very, very excited. So I'm really, I guess, looking for more or less like a overall answer as to where does Roost stand. I know we're like Roost is going to be releasing various tools and things in the next coming months, but like where does that sit with like maybe can we leverage a chat interface against Roost for communication, or like would we use that MCP server to do that? And I don't know, like there's this whole AI thing is still so new. It's I'm just really wondering, like if someone can explain that cohesively.
Hey, you got Aaron, and I'm driving now when I wasn't driving before. Instead of us going straight to a chat interface, we decided to do MCP triggers with an MCP server. And our thought process was this would allow you to use any chat interface, not just ours. And so the chat interface can interact with the MCP server with workflows that have an MCP trigger. And we were actually talking internally about doing a demo of that today, but we weren't able to get around to it. And so maybe we can mess with that as a demo next Friday.
That would be great. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, really looking forward to that. And, maybe like a very quick, even a dirty example of like how someone can leverage another chat tool to I guess, communicate against the MCP server that Roost will be providing.
At its highest level, at its highest level, if you have a chat system that has an LLM and supports MCP, you should be able to configure it to point at the Roost MCP server, and then it can discover all the workflows that have the MCP trigger enabled. And you could ask your chat system, like, what can I do automatically? And it would interrogate us, and it would tell you what you could do automatically. And then if you tried to run one of those automations, hey, I want to do this automatically, your chat interface should be able to come back with and ask you questions based on required parameters that your workflow needs to run.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely phenomenal. Sounds amazing.
Pizza or anybody else that's working on this, that I missed anything, or does anyone want to clarify what I'm saying?
No, I mean, that is fairly close to what the goal is, right? There are certain features that are going to be only available within Roost's chat interface, so to speak. That window that Daniel showed earlier is going to be kind of the main hub for those kind of things. So, for example, at the moment, at least during its initial release, RoboRewsty will require you to be within the workflow editor to make edits to a workflow. But as we improve our asynchronous capabilities to include things like workflow patches, things like that, there are things down the line that we can do to, improve that. But at a high level, we want as much information to be available via this MCP server as possible.
Thank you. All right, we actually had Emmett offer to show us something that he's been working on. You want to do that now, Emmett?
Sure. It's something super simple, and it came about because I had some SOPs I had to build, and I was like, you know what, wouldn't it be great if I had a workflow that would just email me the SOPs and build them for me? So I did, and I mean, it's just AI, not something super crazy. but I want to make sure. Am I sharing the right screen?
We see your form.
Perfect. That's what I want to show. So it's super simple, just an outline for an SOP, and then a options generator from our company to send the email, and then this is what I mean. 3 calls: start, summarize what's in the input from the outline, and then sending the email. And then we've got this beauty right here. I just did this one right before the meeting, and it's a SOP for how to do a SharePoint migration. So
That's cool.
short and sweet.
All right, thank you. Anybody got any questions, thoughts, feats of strength, grievances? No?
Maybe Aaron can give us a traffic report.
There's a ton of traffic on the road because school is getting out for the day. And I don't understand why everyone at public schools has to drive their kids to school. And by the way, I have a kid. When their school bus is available. I think it's bad in the environment. It's bad for traffic, and I want to take their recycling bins away. If you're going to drive your kid to school, then you're not allowed to recycle.
Mike made a good point too in the chat. Also, Patch, you're in Central. The in Central piece.
Does someone want to talk about that vulnerability? I haven't been able to read it yet.
I'll post the links in the chat that were shared. I don't know much about it if anybody else wants to jump in.
There are 2 CVs out there, what we were told yesterday in the call, and if anybody else in the group here was on the enable call yesterday, that happens every Thursday, they are very reluctant to tell us exactly what it is, but they did confirm that that it requires an authenticated user to do anything with those vulnerabilities. So if everybody had MFA set up for everything, then you're, safe, but still upgrade. That's basically all they would tell us, was that it involved authenticated users having access and had vulnerabilities, but here's what you need to do, just make sure we update. That's all I can remember.
Like a permissions bypass is what it was. It seemed like unauthorized users, if you had a slim scope for users, they could bypass that scope and initiate scripts. They could create SSH sessions. They could initiate any script or generate scripts and run them on endpoints, effectively gaining control of the MSP's, customers. It seemed pretty nasty if you didn't have MFA, but we use SSO. We use several different, our team is split. We've got enables SSO, so we have access to analytics, and we have most of the techs just set up with Azure. So they wouldn't be able to get past, hopefully that you wouldn't be able to get past our conditional access policies for that. But it sounded mostly like it was going to affect local users.
Yeah.
Well, just a note, it does allow for command injection, so you can easily privilege escalation with that as well.
Patch here in Central.
Yeah, patch and central.
Unless it gives you a hash mismatch when you go to upgrade.
No. Thank you, Jeff, Josh, and Andrew. That was really helpful.
Everybody switch to Ninja.
Well, we're getting close to the top of the hour. I want to thank everyone who demoed, especially the first timers. We like to see new people demo. So please reach out to us if you've got something to show. And thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Ashe, for running the call. See everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Meow.